It's taken me several days to decide to get back into the groove, but I'm ready now. I'm ready. Oh god, I'm not going there. Oh wow. That is the sound of gaming nostalgia for me. One of them, anyway. Gabriel Knight, Sins of the Fathers. Yes, can I play? I clicked the thing. Ah, I didn't click the thing. Ooh, street. Day 1. I dreamt of blood upon the shore, of eyes that spoke of sin. The lake was smooth and deep and black as was her scented skin. Okay. Clump. Yay, newspaper.
I bet. Just a minute. It lives, I see. Do you want to speak with Lolita? I'm sorry, but Gabriel is allowed. Oh, I mean, he's out.
Allowed.
Yeah, if he ever comes back, I'll tell him. You know, you could do better. I know I don't know you, but you could do better. Good morning. The phone's been ringing off the hook all morning. Let me know when you want your messages.
Yeah.
Gee, you're lively. Did you have another nightmare last night?
Yeah.
Sort of.
I told you it's that voodoo book you're researching. That stuff can seriously screw up your karma.
I'm sure that's it. Maybe I should write a horror novel on passive resistance instead.
So don't sleep. It's your body. Anyway, your handheld tape recorder came today.
Really? Great.
Gambit had a better
I can't
Cajun
wait to
accent.
see what human rights you violate with this one.
I can't wait to violate them. For example, if you would just let me...
And I located some local voodoo references for you. Dixieland Drugstore and the Historical Museum of Voodoo. Both are right here in French Quarter.
Voodoo!
How would I
Everybody knows
ever
voodoo.
manage without you?
You? Give me a break. The devil himself couldn't change you.
Well, if the devil had great legs, perhaps, like yours.
And a riveting personality, I'm sure. Well, if you need any more research done, just ask. It's not as though we're swamped with customers.
Well then, looks like we can actually finally do something. Okay, as far as intros go, that wasn't a long one. Subtitles, text on, narrator voice on. Alright, play. I don't recognize these icons anymore. It's been too long. Where's the look at something? Okay, it's the mask. Should have known.
Don't mind if I do.
Do what?
Oh, nothing.
Use, do something.
Got a minute, Grace?
What's up?
What can you tell me about voodoo?
Voodoo!
I didn't know much of anything about it until you started researching it for your book. Now I know that it's active in the city. There's that shop and museum. It can clearly be dangerous in the wrong hands. You should be careful investigating it.
Oh, glitch.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
Just what I read in the paper, same as you.
Knowledge.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
Well, I've only been here 2 months, but I love it. It's so much more alive than any place I've been. It feels like anything's possible here.
Anything.
Tell me about yourself, Grace.
Yeah, right, Knight.
I mean it.
What do you want to know?
How come we haven't gone out yet?
'Cause you're a jerk.
I'm still running around for that lobotomy. As soon as I get it, I'll let you know.
What do you do after work?
Well, I either go to my oil painting class or my Tai Chi. You know that.
You know, you can go overboard with this improving yourself stuff. You don't want to alienate us mere mortals.
I suppose I should just allow my mind and body to atrophy.
Yeah, exactly.
Works for me. How do you like working at St. George's Books?
Well, it's not exactly a huge intellectual challenge. Although the math in your record books could confuse Einstein. Still, I love old books, and it's a nice way to pay the bills while I explore the city for a summer. If you ever pay me, that is.
That's not a question to ask.
Old enough to know about men like you.
Just tell me anything at all.
I just got my master's in history and classics. My folks wanted me to go on right away for my PhD, but 18 years of school was enough. I needed a break.
Understandable.
Nothing, I guess. Never mind.
Suit yourself.
Do you have messages for me?
Dana called, and Susie left a message about a lawsuit.
Carson.
Okie dokie. There's more when you want them.
Do you have more messages for me?
Your grandmother called.
I keep meaning to get over there. What does she say? Did she sound good?
She sounded great, and we had a nice little chat about you.
Grace.
Eep.
Don't worry. I didn't go into detail about your cardinal sins. Not that anything about you could surprise her. She adores you anyway.
She's my girl.
She's
But she
Grandma.
said to remind you to stop by and go through your father's things.
Aw.
Okay. Do you have more messages for me?
I heard a ding-dong, ding-ding.
Here's a strange one. You got a call from someone named Wolfgang Ritter. He said he was calling from Germany.
Could you
He
mention the
told me it
strange
was
one
urgent.
first?
Maybe you should give him a call.
Call Germany. Like hell. If it's really important, he'll call back.
Well, fine. Let's just hope he's not with the German lottery for pitiful American authors.
Any more
Do you
messages?
have more messages for me?
Your friend Detective Mosley called. Talkative, isn't he?
Especially with you. What do you want?
He left an interesting message. He told me to tell you that his mother's maiden name is Humphrey. Oh, that's Humphrey.
Humphrey.
Fascinating.
And that he left some photos for you at the station, at the front desk.
Interesting.
It's about time.
Gabriel, those photos wouldn't have anything to do with the voodoo murders, would they?
Maybe.
Now, why would you say something like that?
Because I know you. You're getting privileged information, aren't you? Did you tell him you'd put him in your new voodoo book?
A writer has certain obligation to his readers, you know.
Gabriel, you know you'll never put him in your book. Your main character is a female orthodontist. You're gonna be reincarnated as a pit bull if you keep screwing with your karma.
As long as it's a male pit bull with a really big...
What a...
That's enough. Thanks. Anyway, that's all the messages. Thank God.
Could you do some research for me?
Sure. What?
I can't think of anything.
I can't think of anything.
Okay.
I guess we'll have to request research later. Alright, let's look around, shall we?
The magnifying glass
Ah!
is a handy item for reading old manuscripts or the fine print on Gabriel's lease.
Well, you've got a better accent than Gabriel does, but who the heck are you? Which one's the tape? There we go.
Mind if I borrow the magnifying glass?
No, Sherlock. Just bring it back when we get the next estate shipment.
No problem.
Alright. Coffee. Yay, coffee!
Good coffee.
Okay. Let's see, what's this?
There's a pair of tweezers on the counter.
Grace uses them for book repair work. Okay, I'm a much faster reader than you are, lady.
Gabriel cannot.
I can sew. What, did you think I was trying to take the desk? Seriously?
I'm going to take the tweezers for a bit.
Good.
Excusez-moi.
You're beginning to look a little scruffy.
Just trying to make you feel at home.
Look at all these books.
St. George's books could use some serious renovation, but Gabriel likes to think that the place has character.
Alright. We gotta look around for some books.
Gabriel selects a volume of German poetry
German
that he
poetry.
always found strangely compelling.
Drei Drachen.
3 dragons.
Drei Drachen kriechen
Okay.
in meinen Schlaf.
Ah.
Die Ziele wollen sie lebendig zum Fraß.
I'm not even gonna pretend to speak German. I only know.
Feurigen Atems, gespaltener Zunge, genießen sie jedes Mal.
That's nice. Kinda creepy, though. Who's the author?
Hans Ritter. I'm not sure what it says, but I get the feeling the guy was one sick puppy.
Doesn't the name Hans Ritter mean anything to you? Yeah, the ding 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 means I found something important.
Gabriel pulls down a book on snakes.
Yay! Why did it have to be snakes?
Snakes are legless reptiles.
Really?
Some snakes kill their prey with poison, some by constriction.
This is a children's book?
A snake smells by tasting the air with its forked tongue. The smells are passed back to a sense organ in the mouth. Constrictor snakes, however, sense their prey by vibration.
Oh, none of this will come in handy or be relevant.
Did you know that medieval legends about dragons and giant worms are actually based on snakes? You know, dragons, devils, sea monsters, well, they've always been associated with snakes.
Grace, get alive.
Ding ding dong ding! Let me see. About time I paused the recording. 1 second. Alright, let's... What's all these books?
Gabriel finds those popular authors very mediocre. As though they would care.
Yeah, I've sent 100 hate letters to Stephanie Meyer and she's never even acknowledged it.
It's certainly light enough, but rather useless, as Gabriel well knows.
What is?
It's
I hate games that have
Gabriel
separate...
opens the cash register to examine the tape. Or, in the case of St. George's books, the mistape. The cash register contains about $20 in small bills and change.
I hate it when they have use and open
It's
and
a
close
gift
as separate
certificate
things.
left over from yet another dismal failure of a promotion.
I trust you can live without this old gift certificate.
Knock yourself out.
The $20 gift certificate for St. George's looks pitifully new and unused.
Could that be because maybe it's, you know, still in the store and has never been used, maybe? Alright. Newspaper.
Times-Picayune, dated June 18, 1993. The front page has an article about the voodoo murders.
Your mom's an article about the voodoo
article
murders.
says that the victims are all identified as members of the underworld. The general public of New Orleans is in no danger. Police claim the so-called voodoo trappings found at the crime scenes are fake, a scare tactic, and that the murders are not associated with any genuine practitioners.
Don't you believe it? Excuse me.
Gabriel also scans the Aquarius horoscope for the day. Potential storms ahead. Proceed with caution and do not get involved with anything new at this time.
Well, technically we were already embroiled in this, but okay.
Right.
Embroiled. picture.
3 snakes in a skull. Gabriel's father painted it.
Okay.
What a wacky, offbeat kind of guy Daddy was.
I think we're done here.
See you later.
Good luck.
Yay. Alright, now let's explore the city at large. Ooh, what do we got here? We got the Dixieland Drugstore, Historical Voodoo Museum, St. Louis Cathedral, Jackson Square Overlook, Napoleon House, and the police station. Jackson Square Overlook, Napoleon House, police station. Oh, and then there's our grandmother's house. Yeah, we definitely should check that out. Ooh, FMV! Our cutscene.
Gabriel, I'm so glad you stopped by.
Everybody has better accents than
Sorry
Gabriel.
it's been a while, Grandma.
Not at all. Give us a kiss. Now
That was a
come and
hug.
sit down. Tell me how you're doing.
Granny might get worried if Gabriel...
Shut up.
Can we talk, Gran?
Of course, my boy. How can I help?
Can you give me game exposition?
What can you tell me about voodoo?
Voodoo? What an odd question, Gabriel. Of course, you always were interested in monster movies and all that other weird stuff. You get that from your father and granddad. I don't know anything about it, dear. Of course, it was very big in New Orleans at one time, but you don't hear about it so much these days.
Except in all the
Too much else
papers.
in the world to worry about, I guess.
Alright.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
Oh, Gabriel, nothing. And I don't want to. I sometimes wonder what this world is coming to.
Now,
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
New Orleans is very southern. Of course, though, not as much as it used to be when I was a girl. It's gotten much more influenced by the East Coast and that California stuff. Still, it hasn't changed as much as other places, I reckon. We've always been happy here.
that California stuff. Okay.
Tell me about yourself.
Me? Oh, surely you have something more interesting to talk about.
Oh, come on, Gran.
All right, dear. What do you want to hear?
What do you do all day?
Yeah.
You know how I love to knit and work in my garden? I also take long walks. It's the only way to keep an old body like mine from stiffening up.
Right, right.
You're not old.
Oh, don't be foolish. I'm older than the hills.
Tell me about before you met Granddaddy.
Well, you know I was born Rebecca Wright. My daddy owned a lot of land outside of town. We grew peas, corn, cotton, all kinds of things. It was a good childhood, but my father was very strict. He didn't much let me out of his sight.
Tell me how you met Granddaddy.
I met Harrison at a church revival. There was a traveling preacher back then, a big fella named Reverend Jim. I even remember his slogan, "Come to me to find your way." Your granddad was sitting right behind me and my girlfriend Alma, and at one point, old Reverend Jim was flinging his hair around with his fire and brimstone antics, and a piece of it, one of those small add-on doos for men, went flying off. I swear, Harrison and I were the only ones that noticed.
So he lost his
We both
weave?
started laughing to beat the band. Everyone looked at us like we were a couple of loonies. It was then I knew that he was for me.
Cutting up in church, you know he's the guy for you.
How you feeling these days?
Fit as a fiddle, and don't you worry your head about it.
Is that all we're getting out of how you're feeling?
Just tell me anything at all.
I had your father when I was 22. The doctors told me I couldn't have any more after him, so I'm afraid I spoiled him rotten.
Just tell me anything at all.
I never loved any man but your grandfather, and I never will.
Been late for that now. Okay, that was tacky.
Just tell me anything at all.
I hate to admit it, but I was a jealous little thing when your granddad and I were younger. I loved him so ferociously, and he did attract the eyes of the ladies, whether he wanted to or not.
Alright, enough of that.
Oh, nothing, never mind.
All right, dear.
Tell me about our family.
Okay, more options.
Who would you like to hear about? Your granddad, your father, or your mother?
Okay, for those of you actually playing the game, this stuff will be plot
Tell me
relevant.
something about Granddad.
Well, she just
Your
did.
granddad immigrated to America when he was 21. He worked his way through school, met and married me, and we had your father, Philip.
There we go. Sorry, I had a little wire mishap with my,
Tell me something about
yeah.
Your granddad supported me and your father with bookkeeping. I'll tell you what, though, he hated every minute of it. Didn't really like bookkeeping one bit.
Slowly, the job crushed the soul and life out of him.
Worse luck with jobs. The nights he'd come home afraid to tell me he'd lost another. And I would tell him. It didn't matter to me. But he felt ashamed, Gabriel.
Tell me about my father.
Your father was my only child. How we adored him. Philip suffered from terrible nightmares, just like your granddad did. They were two peas in a pod.
Didn't Grace say something about nightmares?
Tell me something about Granddad.
Harrison was only 36 when he died. Your father was 8 years old at the time. Your granddad was hit by a streetcar in the business district. Took me nearly a year to believe he was really gone.
I'm sorry, Gran.
I know you are, dear.
Aww.
Tell me something about Granddad.
Did you know that your granddad was a poet? He was! He wrote the most beautiful poetry for me when we were courting.
Oh.
I always thought he should have done something with that gift. But he was such a practical man. Didn't believe in chasing after dreams.
Tell me something about Granddad.
I don't know what else to tell you, dear.
Okay.
Tell me about my father.
When Philip met your mother, it was love at first sight. They were married 2 weeks later. Never looked at a girl seriously until then. And he looked at plenty. You have your father's way with women, Gabriel. And your granddad's.
Tell me about my father.
I wanted to just lay down and die when he and your mother were killed in that car crash when you were only 8. It was the thought of taking care of you that kept me going, Gabriel. The police say your father swerved off the road after being frightened by something. Perhaps a deer in the road or a wild cat.
Tell
Is that
me
all about the father?
Your granddad
There we go.
wanted Philip to have a normal life. He was obsessed by that thought. He pushed Philip to go to law school. Philip was driven to art. He painted almost in a daze. He would get so inside himself when he worked.
And then he would paint 3 snakes in a skull.
Tell me about my father.
He always hated it that it was Margaret's money that supported the 3 of you when his painting couldn't. I kept telling him, try something more cheerful, like a landscape or two. He couldn't do it. His work was just too dark and disturbing for the public, you know.
I think we've exhausted the dad.
Tell me about...
I don't
There we go.
Tell me about my mother.
Your mother was Margaret Templeton when your father met her. She came from a very wealthy Creole family in New Orleans. She was beautiful and reckless. She was madly in love with your father, of course. I also think she liked defying her family. Since you're so interested in family history these days, why don't you go by St. Louis Cemetery No. 1 and visit the family tomb? It would be a sweet gesture.
Here we go.
Maybe I will.
Anything else about
Tell
Mom,
me
or was
about
that
my
ding
mother.
ding dong
Your
ding?
mother's family refused to give her money after the marriage. All she had left was a modest trust fund from her great aunt, who happened to like Philip. The remainder of your mother's trust fund became yours when she died. That's what you used to open your bookshop.
Tell me about...
The Templetons are all gone now. Every last one of them. They never wanted anything to do with us, of course. What a waste.
Tell me about...
I don't...
Alright.
You know, you get prettier every time I see you.
Aww.
You...
He's a good grandson. He may be kind of a jerk with women, but he's a good grandson. Alright.
I'm going to go up to the attic, Graham.
Be careful of the dust.
I won't let the dust jump me, Grandma. Alright. I think that's enough. That's a good... you know what? No, I'm going to run a little long this time, simply because...
There's nothing I want in there.
Okay.
Gabriel doesn't want to take the
Okay.
It looks pretty heavy.
I hate it when there's a separate...
trunk doesn't operate.
How does a trunk not operate? It's a trunk. Does it just not work?
It might be better to pick.
Okay, there's a book. The reason I don't end here is because I'm about to read a diary, and that's not really an interesting place to begin the next video.
I think I'll take
Oh, it's a
Daddy's
sketchbook, my bad.
with me.
Well, what I want to see in this sketchbook, Mr. Dingy?
Gabriel looks fondly at his father's sketchbook and charcoal pencil.
Ah, there we go. Whoa, hello.
Images haunt the pages of... The images touch a deep chord in Gabriel. So familiar are they that he finds it hard to believe they aren't from his own subconscious. The images...
Okay. Can I turn the page? I mean... Can I turn the page? I don't know. Okay, I thought there was a diary in that book. My memories are vague at best. Alright. Use clock. Huh. You know what? I think I'll do this next time. I'll see you all soon.